Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. So this video is part 1 of the new moon in Pisces. Part 2 is available on Patreon, where I go over the sun, moon, and rising placements, pull cards, and see what channel messages come through. So when it comes to this new moon in Pisces, I want to share 5 things with you about this new moon energy. So when it comes to this new moon in Pisces, first of all, I want to share with you the numerology. So when it comes to the numerology, we are in an 9th year. And with us being in a 9th year, this year is about major endings, like what would I call it? Generational endings. Things that we've been pursuing for some time now. We're coming to the realization that it doesn't work, whether we're consciously walking away from certain things or things are just happening and it feels like sudden and unexpected, but it's not sudden and unexpected. There was a lead up to it, and there's a part of us that wanted that change. So with us being in a 9th year, I think of a circle, and when you think of a circle, the ending is the beginning. So there's no fear when it comes to losing anything because it's just making place for something else. And when I think of, us entering into a new moon in Pisces, the new things coming in with the Piscean energy can only come in once we make space by taking away what no longer works. And when it comes to what's being taken away or what's coming to an end, it's something that has been a part of our lives for some time now. It's not just this random thing that's coming to an end or a random thing that's coming into our world as this is a new moon. So even though we're in a 9th year, something is coming to an end, but it's creating space as we enter into something new with this new moon energy. And this new moon energy is happening in the month of February. And February is associated with the number 2. And the number 2 energy is very similar to the number 9 in the sense that, yes, the number 9 deals with endings, but the number 9 is a humanity energy, meaning it focuses on others, where the number 2 energy is similar because it's a nurturing energy and it's all about uniting. So with this new moon happening in the month of February, the number 2 brings in feminine energy. It brings in nurturing energy. It brings in collaborative energies, and it's happening on the 27th. The number 2 and the number 7 are similar in the sense that the number 2 deals with our intuition, the number 7 deals with knowing. So they're both psychic energies. But 2 plus 7 is 9 again. So on the day of this new moon energy, there's this intuitive knowing when it comes to something. And as one thing comes to an end, it's making space for something new. The energies in the day of the new moon, which is February 27th, 2025, adds up or reduces to number 2 vibration. And the number 2, again, it's more nurturing energy. The number 2, it brings me to bringing something together or getting something going. It's like, putting something in motion in order to evolve it to the next level. But the new moon is at 9 degrees. So this new moon is at 9 degrees, and with it at 9 degree again, this new moon energy will bring me to being right at the, it's like being at the doorway is the image that comes to mind, where it's like you're walking out of one thing, but immediately you're walking into another. So when it comes to this new moon energy could bring up situations where it's like, the minute as something ends, the door opens for something else. It's like the new beginning comes in the result of something happening, but something ending, but there was no gap in between. It's like immediately this ends and boom, it's time to start. So it's almost like there is no time to get a breather or even prepare for this new beginning is how I would see it. So a new beginning that's coming through based on the numerology, there's no time to prepare. It just happens so quickly. The minute something ends, it happens. It brings me to the image that I'm having in my mind is I'm imagining being on like a movie set or some kind of a creative set, and say a person is a part of a production set and everybody knows that this person can sing, but their job is to work the lights. And something happens where the main person who's casted to do the singing role, something happens and they can't do it. And immediately the person who works the light is asked to jump into that role instantly. So they didn't even get a chance to rehearse or practice, even though they know the lines, because they're holding the lights and every day they're seeing it over and over, hearing it over and over again. So they're already prepared, but they themselves probably would have liked some extra time to kind of like let it sink in. There's no time for it to sink in. It's like this thing ends and boom, you jump into the next thing and there's not a lot of time to think about it. So this brings me to the second thing that I want to talk about when it comes to this new moon in Pisces. And the second thing is what happens when we have a new moon. So for me, new moon energies are very favorable because I think of, the sun and the moon, and the interaction between the sun and the moon is what we use to determine a new moon. So whenever we have a new moon, the sun and the moon, they're together in the same sign at the exact degree. And I like that because I think of like whenever the sun and the moon are challenging each other within the chart or within the sky, it could reflect turmoil that happens within us, as the sun would reflect our identity and the moon reflects our inner world and what nurtures us. The sun reflecting the father, the moon reflecting the mother. But when the sun and the moon are together at the same exact degree, it's like the mother and the father being on good terms, being on the same accord. There's no back and forth. So that would reflect within us our psychology, where who we identify as and how we're nurtured are on the same accord. So what's so powerful about that is when we come up with an idea to do something or make something happen, there's no conflict, as the nurturing aspect of us is nurtured by making that thing happen. Where it could be so problematic when, one part of us wants a thing and another part of us is fighting against that thing that we want. So there's, turbulent inside, where with the new moon, those energies come together, the identity and the inner world comes together, the masculine and the feminine comes together. And, when the masculine and the feminine comes together, they procreate and creates the new beginning, which is that new moon energy. I think of it like when the number 1, which is the father, which is the sun, and the number 2, which is the mother, which is the moon, comes together and creates the number 3, which is the child, the creative expression of the one and the 2. So a new moon brings me to that. So with the new moon in Pisces, a new moon in Pisces bring forth new beginnings when it comes to our creative expression. New moon in Pisces could bring in new beginnings when it comes to religion, new beginnings when it comes to spirituality. So for some people, maybe you could decide that you want to go back to church, or you want to start entertaining religious type things. Or for others, it might be a flip, where with this new moon energy, you decide that you're no longer going to entertain church or any structured religious, structured religion. It could be that you're switching from that and going more into spirituality. So it could be that flip. Or I like that Saturn energy is pretty close, so it's almost conjuncting the new moon energy. So with Saturn and Pisces, Saturn brings in structure with this area where there's no boundaries. So what I love about this new moon energy happening in the 9th year, I think of the person who is finally deciding to pursue their dream when it comes to singing or dancing or creating, cooking, anything that we do to creatively express ourselves. A thing that once felt boundaryless or felt unrealistic because, say, for example, society, we don't have a lot of examples of people making it big, pursuing that specific path. Where with Saturn there, Saturn has created the structure, the boundary, the foundation to make a thing happen. So with this new moon happening in the 9th year, I think of a person coming to the realization of walking away from a path that no longer serves them and now stepping into one that they've always wanted to follow within their heart, but couldn't see how to make it happen before, or within themselves, they were sabotaging the vision of making it happen because it felt unrealistic. So even though, you know, you're pursuing it, you also don't think it's possible for you. So what I love with this new moon energy is coming to the realization that I can monetize this dream. I can monetize this goal. I could make this thing happen. And with this new moon energy, like the example that I gave in the beginning, it's like, I think of the person who gets fired or laid off, and then from getting fired or laid off or quitting, they are perfectly aligned for this new position that they got to step into. I think of like the person gets fired, they get laid off, or they quit and they start their cooking business, and the cooking business takes off because people been waiting for them to start cooking full time. But it was a matter of them feeling like, I don't want to walk away from a stable thing for something unsure. And then realizing that the thing they thought was stable was never stable. And the thing that they do effortlessly and enjoy doing is the thing that is for sure, because they're making money and having fun while they're doing it. Let's pause for a bit. I am proud of the services that I offer and excited to tell you about them. If it would be your first time booking with me, then I recommend the natal chart and numerology awareness coaching session. For a while, that was the only service I offered, along with the 30 minutes tarot reading, which is still available if you're interested. I noticed a pattern. At the end of the natal chart and numerology coaching sessions, some of you would ask me for a follow-up service options for additional clarity and guidance to assist you with whatever you're going through at the moment. I kept saying, I'll look into it. I don't know why it took me so long. Finally, I have created that option along with the service option to book a solar return chart reading for those of you who are strategic and like to plan ahead. Everything you need to know is within the description box below. Let's get back into the video. Brings me to the third thing about this new moon energy, and it's the challenge. So the challenge about this new moon energy is that the new moon is being squared by Jupiter in Gemini. So when it comes to the new moon being squared by Jupiter in Gemini, what I get from this square energy is that there's something about whatever it is that you want to pursue, or whatever this new moon is bringing in, something about either your family or your friend group. So what comes to mind with this, when I think of Gemini energy, Gemini brings me to seniority energy similar to Capricorn and Aquarius. And the reason why I say Capricorn and Aquarius, because Saturn deals with time and it deals with that seniority energy. When I think about Gemini and seniority energy, I think of how Gemini rules our local community and the things that are familiar, our family, our siblings. So with Jupiter there squaring the new moon, it will bring me to the thought of this new beginning that comes up around the new moon, whether it's just an idea or it's an actual opportunity. You could find yourself experiencing challenges, as it would remind me to this energy would remind me of the 6 of Wands in the tarot. And the card 6 of Wands, you'll see this person riding on the horse, and the people around them don't look happy for them. And I feel like with this new moon, it might feel like the challenge might feel like this new beginning, this new perspective, this new thing that you're thinking on embarking on. You're not getting the support that you want to get from this thing. And I feel like it's not that the people around you aren't happy for you. I think it's a matter of people being so used to you having a certain title, or they're limited when it comes to their view of you, meaning they can't imagine you doing something other than what it is that you're doing. They can't imagine you playing a role other than the one you've already been playing. So when you present this idea, they might not be happy. And another reason why they might not be happy, because what they might be losing from you making this change, the benefits of you moving on. It could be that they're going to be missing you and, you know, you're no longer going to be a part of the group, a part of the community from this change. So they're sad that they're going to be missing you. Or it could be that the perks that they got from, you know, you being wherever you were before. So, you know, that is a challenge that I'm seeing when it comes to this new moon energy. Something about, yeah, your community, your siblings, your family, something about a familiar group that you engage with on a regular basis, or even a person, and maybe their reaction to this new beginning for you. And we'll all be experiencing this in our own way in different aspects of our lives. So for some of us, it might not be, it will be, you know, whether it's the siblings, the community, the family, it will be something about the new beginning and them. There's a challenge between them and the new beginning, but it could be in different areas of our lives in different ways. And it brings me to the fourth thing when it comes to this new moon energy and what is unexpected. And for me, when it comes to what is unexpected about this new moon energy, for me, the unexpected is something that I mentioned earlier. And the unexpected energy for me is something abruptly coming to an end as we are pushed or rushed into this new beginning. And for some people, it could feel exactly like that. And for other people, it might just be a shift in perspective where it's like, one minute you were so sure that you wanted to be a pediatrician, and the next minute you are just clear that that is not the path you want to take, and you already purchased your domain, your LLC, and everything, and you're baking cupcakes. You know, it was like, it happened so quick. It's like, I'm so sure that ain't it, and this is it, to the point where it could feel as if, like, I don't know, I think of like with everything in Pisces energy, and with Pisces energy, it could be so not optimistic, but I think of how we could project. So for some people, it could be such a strong projection where it's like you're fantasizing about the idea of yourself, the title of a thing, and not fully thinking through the process of what it will take to make a thing happen. I feel like that also ties back into the third thing, which is the challenge. And with Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter energy brings context to Gemini energy, an area where there's normally not a lot of context. And I feel like with that square, you know, it could just be that, you know, unexpectedly you jump from one thing to the next and you're overlooking certain information that should be, you know, you should take into consideration. And I think what you should take into consideration, or what would be beneficial for me, is a matter of, you know, when it comes to, say, this new moon energy and the ideas that come to you, when it comes to the idea, you know, reflect on the process that it takes to either achieving the goal of the idea, or reflect on the process that will be required to maintaining it. So say with this new moon, you know, you're the person that decides you're going to quit being a pediatrician and you're going to bake cupcakes, which is cool. But, you know, stop and ask yourself, like, you know, do I like baking cupcakes? Can I see myself baking cupcakes every day until I'm able to hire a staff to do so? You know, what will it take to maintain this business? Can I see myself doing that? You know, whatever new beginning idea that comes to you around the new moon, ask yourself those questions, because the idea of yourself in the position is going to be so exciting. But reflect on the process to get to that position, and reflect on the process to maintain that position, and ask yourself, can I keep this going? You know, it could be as simple as, say, a Pisces person decides that they want a makeover and they have this new image for themselves. Say maybe you have a new idea for a hairstyle or a hair color. And it's like, okay, this is super cute. I'm excited about this. What's the process to maintain this look? What's the process to get to this look, and what's the process to maintain this look? Because if you're going to be bald when it's all said and done to maintain this look, then maybe you want to entertain something else, you know, that kind of thing. What's the image you have in mind? What is the process to get to it? What is the process to maintain it? And is that in alignment with your truth? I feel like that could be very beneficial as, you know, some of us deal with the unexpected, excited energy of this Pisces new moon. And this brings me to the fifth thing, which is the blessings. And the blessings for me for this brings me back to, you know, one of my favorite transits. And my favorite transit was Saturn transit in Pisces, because for me, that transit was just very beneficial in my world. And I feel like for others, I'm sure it was beneficial in your world. You probably just didn't know it was playing out, even if you were challenged in order to start recognizing the benefits of it or utilizing the benefits that it brings. But the blessings for me when it comes to this new moon in Pisces is the fact that, yes, we're starting new beginnings or stepping into new beginnings when it comes to, say, for some of us, our spiritual journey, for some of us, our ability to heal, for others of us, our ability to manifest and put certain things out there, out into the physical realm that was once a dream. To me, that's a blessing. But the reason why I go on and on about Saturn energy is because I think of what I'm doing here, how Piscean it is, you know, speaking about these topics that are boundaryless, but is from implementing Saturn energy, which is me creating structure in order to bring forward these things that have no boundary, have no structure, that are just floating out in the ethers, just, you know, just out there, and to be able to bring them in and create some kind of structure to bring them in front of you. To me, that's Saturn and Pisces. So, you know, even before the transit, I've been learning to work with the two energies. And after the transit, I've seen how these energies has positively influenced my life. So the fifth thing, the blessings, for some of us are us creating a career out of something that we once couldn't see how to create a career out of. You know, being able to see for ourselves new goals and visions around things that are boundaryless. I think of the person who once thought baking cookies, whatever it is that they do, thought it was just something for fun. And now they're seeing how they could create a successful business doing it. The person who's into Reiki healing and for a while struggled with the idea of moving energy around and how to charge for that and getting to business for that. And now they're doing that. The person with their apothecary line, you know, all different kind of creative ways how we heal. When I think of Pisces energy, I think of 12th house energy, and I think of art. And I think of how art is an experience that could change someone's life forever, where you hear a beautiful song and the song triggers something in you. It activates something in you. It sets you free in ways that nothing else could have. You know, you see a piece of art and it triggers something in you, and it's able to change your perspective, change your life. You watch a movie and the movie is able to inspire you in ways where you can't look back, because you can only go forward after having that experience. When I think of this new moon in Pisces energy and the blessings for some of us, you know, we wake up to new perspectives or new beginnings that allow for the spiritual side of us to be free, our inner child to be free. This is such a freeing energy. And yeah, this new moon energy for me reflects new beginnings and pursuing a path of freedom. And like I said, with Saturn transiting this area of our area in different aspects of our lives for the past year, you know, an area where we lack boundaries, we lack structure, we lack order, we lack organization, an area where we were all over the damn place. And we can tell we were all over the damn place by what was happening in our world when it comes to this thing, a lack of structure, a lack of organization, just all over the place. And since the last year, you know, some of us may have been challenged when it comes to this area, but we could see where we're starting to have growth. This was part 1 of the new moon in Pisces video. Part 2 is available on Patreon. It was a pleasure sharing this message with you. Before you go anywhere, please let me know you're here with me by dropping me an orange heart in the comment box below. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.